Hey everyone, welcome back. For today's video, I want to share a piece of advice that I wish I had when I started my academic journey in undergraduate. I personally think that this is probably some of the best piece of advice that you can receive, that I wish I would have received. It would have saved me a lot of time and a lot of headache. So let's get into it. So to cut down straight to the chase, if you want to know what the piece of advice is, it is that you should drop any expectation of your TAs, your instructors, your professors, your dean, anyone that's basically above you that is supposed to teach you. So I'll just leave it at that. And then I will give you some subpoints as to why I think that is and why it's actually not a negative thing to say. So the reason I say this is because when you strip yourself off these expectations that a TA, a prof, an instructor, or anybody is supposed to teach you something, it actually allows you to be in more control of your own learning experience through your academic journey. And my notes fell down. Okay, so personally, from talking to a lot of other people, my friends, some profs are great, but then others are not so much. Some people know how to teach, some people don't know how to teach. Some people care to teach, some people don't care to teach. So really, depending on your environment, the more you set these expectations of others, the more you're actually at a higher chance of being let down. Versus when you strip these expectations, you are not going to be let down because you're going in at ground zero, and anything that's good that's going to happen, you're going to take it, and it's only going to amplify your learning experience. So take that versus when you go into a class or tutorial, whatever it may be, and that instructor doesn't deliver, and without these expectations, you came in not really thinking that you're going to get much out of this person, and lo and behold, they didn't deliver. So you're not that let down, you don't have that extra headache, and what actually you're able to do at that point is almost have an adaptive response and take a look at yourself, see what you can learn, what you cannot learn. Maybe there's specific questions that you can ask the instructor. Or even better yet, you can get to know your peers around you and see if you can have a study group or maybe just a one-on-one person that you can find that you really click with and just bounce ideas off and information off. And that way you understand the material better, you have a study buddy, you're not fully let down by that instructor and beating yourself up about, I paid all this money and all this time and this person doesn't deliver, because at the end of the day, not much is going to come of it. It's really up to you to learn and ask the right questions and meet the right people that are really going to help you with that. So that's the first point that I really want to make. So reason number 2 that I think this advice is probably one of the best is because it actually allows you to expand and understand your learning style more. So let me give you an example. You come into a class, the prof, they teach you a concept, or not just a concept, like the entire course is really great. They deliver their content in a very specific manner, in a way that's, very digestible. You don't have to redo the slides, you don't have to add additional notes or anything like that. Like, you just kind of take what they give you, maybe add a little bit extra, but really, that's kind of your guide for that course. What happens when maybe it's a similar course, or it's, you build on that foundation and then you have another professor that doesn't deliver? What happens then? You are so used to that way of delivery that you go in thinking you're going to get the same thing, but you're not going to get the same thing. So then you start basically mimicking what happened in that previous course with this new professor. What happens if that same delivery doesn't actually work for you? What if it's just something that's been set for you and given to you, and you kind of took it because that was the best thing that you could get at that time and you just accepted it? Do you see what I mean? That's where your mind is a little bit more closed off and you're not open to the idea, well, maybe there's a specific way and style that I actually get to learn. Maybe there's a specific way that I need to make my notes after the class. Sorry, change the camera settings a little bit because it's getting a little dark outside. Let's move on to the next point. So this last point is that you have to be your own teacher and your own student. And this is a lifelong skill that is going to serve you so much in the future, especially when you start early in your 20s and you begin to understand that you can do things on your own, that you can be independent in the way that you learn the material, and will only give you more confidence and the ability to know that, okay, so I learned this one thing on my own, and then I used, my TAs, instructors, profs, or anything else, whether they are good or bad, as guides to help me amplify my academic experience and to help me only amplify and get more out of whatever the material it is that I'm learning. Once you go about it that way, you are never going to learn in any other way, and you're going to be so much more independent in how you do things and how you go through life, and it's going to show. And on top of that, maybe you'll find a way to teach somebody else, or maybe your teaching style is going to work for a particular set of people and you can connect with them and teach them those lessons. So what I'm trying to say is stripping those expectations down and can only free you in a way that you wouldn't be free if you had those expectations. So you get to network, you get to meet people, make friendships, potential relationships, who knows? You get to have that study buddy or study buddies. You get to learn the course material the way that's best fit for you, and you use the instructor, the thing that you cannot control and how they're going to be able to deliver that message for you. You use them to help you and your learning experience. With that being said, I hope you see why stripping those expectations down is probably the best advice that I can give for students that I wish I had when I was younger. If somebody told me that, like, hey, just go into this experience thinking that you will have to teach yourself, and anyone else that is delivering the content to you, they're basically a guide. And make sure you ask as many questions as you can. Make sure you use them as much as you can to help you learn the material that you need to learn. All right, and with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!